Once again, this is TMC Connect. Thank you all so much for joining us today. With me today is the awesome Brad Ketcher with Ignite. Love Brad and love everything that he brings to TMC Connect. So we are looking forward to hearing him today talk about the 8 Encompass tools to revolutionize funding in the secondary market. So cap markets, post-close, automated solutions, Ignite, we get ship done. So a little housekeeping, please know that we want this to be interactive. So if you have questions, please feel free to use the chat or the Q&A function, and I will be throwing those questions out to Brad as we go along. Please know that everyone entered on mute, but if you'd like to raise your hand or you want to verbalize your own question, we can do that as well. We do appreciate that you are here. There will be a follow-up email tomorrow with a link to the YouTube recording. So just watch out for that in your email. And we just really appreciate everybody's time. And thank you, Brad, for being here as well.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you very much to the Mortgage Collaborative also for allowing for this event, for this webinar. So really excited. Ignite has been part of the Mortgage Collaborative for a number of years. I want to say possibly even since the beginning. It's been a great organization, right? Really, really big fans of the TMC. I feel like it's great, open forum, open collaboration, and people just kind of, in some regards, like trading secrets of helping your friend get ahead in the industry. So again, great organization. Thanks so much, Tony, and to the TMC for allowing for today. So Ignite Integration Solutions was founded in 2013. We're a technology company that focuses on residential mortgage industry. Okay, and then our focus is really it's more on the Encompass loan origination system. We've worked with other LOSs as well, but the primary focus for us has been Encompass and trying to automate it, create better workflows, greater visibility within the loan file, and then also assisting with data and documents either going in or out of Encompass. And really what that means is that's more for vendor integrations and still allowing Encompass to be your system of record. Or if you're a bank or credit union, allowing for your core system to be the center system of record, and then pulling in the Encompass data or documents whenever necessary. Just to backtrack, in terms of Ignite, we are mortgage professionals and software developers. So I was a loan officer for 2 years. I've been in capital markets twice. I've been head of processing, co-head of sales. I've overseen $1 billion portfolio and managed loss mitigation and 4 different sub-servicers over the course of 9 years. And that's just me. So I've a decent amount of experience, but I'm just one spoke of the wheel. We have a whole team of great mortgage professionals here at Ignite, so with an array of experiences, which means that we're familiar with either the pain points, the repetitive natures of certain tasks, and we could fully understand what you're looking to accomplish. And then from there, we could translate your needs to our software developers, where we have a whole bench of full-time, fully domestic software developers that will work to create a very fluid, intuitive, simple solution that we really strive for full automation, meaning that no clicks are necessary. Otherwise, we work for as few clicks as possible. So that's the background in terms of Ignite. I'm going to go through, so here's my information, and then I'll show it again later in this presentation. I'm a big fan of having a live presentation. So this way, it's kind of like no tricks up my sleeve. You can see how our solutions work, how they look, how they function. I'm more than happy to have a conversation after this webinar and give you a more personalized walkthrough of either our solutions, or if you have a different pain point that you're looking for some help with. Keep in mind that all of our solutions are custom development, meaning that if you have any type of tweaks or special requirements, I'm sure we could help and address those. So today we're going to go through EPO Finder, or early payoff. Also helps you out finding duplicate loans. Going through Secure Insight as a vendor, and I can show you the integration that we provided for them. Working with warehouse extracts, GiniNet extract, sub-servicing loan boarding, payment servicing, if you want to collect interim servicing payments or fees, and then also purchase advice automation and MERS automation. My goal is to try to make today's call 30 minutes or less, and then we could have time for conversations through the chat. On the right side is the catalog, which I can send you our catalog after this call, and it really highlights on pure automation. Okay, so without further ado, here is Ignite's Encompass instance. So in terms of early payoff, I personally think that early payoffs or EPOs should be extinct. They're easy to find with the right solutions and the right procedures in place. So for us, we'll have, here's a drop-down menu. Any type of user interfaces will be shown right here for any solutions that you purchase. And then the loan duplication tracker is helpful for two ways. One, so we're looking for any locks of loans that have closed and any recent locks. So once I click search, it's interrogating Ignite's system, and immediately I found 3 loans with similar criteria. So we're looking at borrower's social security number, and that's either borrower 1 or co-borrower. And we're also looking and monitoring, even if they were reversed or flipped between borrower and co-borrower. Looking at zip code, because it's very possible that somebody has an investment property. So we want to filter out anything that should not be on this list. But in terms of early payoffs, for people that are not familiar with it, is that if Wells Fargo is to purchase a loan, it's possible that they have a 6-month EPO clause, meaning that if the loan has been refinanced by your company, then you have to pay back the premium that they originally paid for the first loan that they purchased. And it's possible that the loan, just to use an easy date, the loan might have closed on January 1st. So therefore, you should not be closing a loan for 6 months after purchase. So even though the loan closed on January 1st, Wells might not have purchased a loan until maybe early February. So a big misnomer and sometimes a bad assumption, which assumptions definitely lead to more mistakes than anything else, is that people think it's just closing date plus 6 months, which is not the case. And I would guess that probably over 80% of EPOs happen within only 2 or 3 weeks left of the EPO period. So here we are, we're showing a lot of key data points to help you filter out, who's the investor? Is it Wells Fargo? Is it PennyMac? Is it Chase? Because each have their own certain EPO period. And then we're getting into the specifics of the loan, estimated closing date, first payment date, what folder is it in, milestone, loan officer. And we could work with you in terms of if you need additional headers. And if you want to sort, you're able to sort. If you want to export this spreadsheet, you can. And then that just goes down to your desktop. If you want to save it into a shared folder, you can do that as well. And my recommendation is just pulling this every Tuesday and every Thursday or Monday and Thursday, just to make sure that you should flag internally that a loan should not close before a certain date to avoid an EPO payoff. As I said, that it's fully avoidable. Jumping into Secure Insight. So Secure Insight is a vendor that's been around for a number of years, and a big conversation point lately has been of wire fraud and people trying to tempt certain professionals of sending money to the wrong place. So Secure Insight has a way of, they have a database of over 70,000 settlement agents. So this way you can verify the person, you can verify so much different information, which we'll go through right now. So in terms of Encompass, we'll look at file contacts. And if I scroll all the way down to the bottom, you can see the settlement agent right here is Title Agency of America, Jessica Albright. So this is just kind of showing what's already in Encompass. And then if I go into Ignite's solution, which is right here, Secure Insight, you'll see a pop-up shows, and this is interactive for the user to find the settlement agent that they're looking for. And you can see it's already populated with whatever's been in file contacts. And as I was saying in the beginning, we try to eliminate as many clicks as possible. Say like this person ultimately is not the person that you're looking for. So you could find a settlement agent, and I can remove the person's name and information. So this way, go for a wider net, click search, takes a few seconds or it's super fast. And what we're doing is we're reaching into Secure Insight's database and then pulling out information. So it's giving us 4 different choices. I'll double click and say I want Dom Kohenet, I hit yes. And then at this moment, we're pulling the data and the information into Encompass. The PDF is able to be opened, which I'll show in just a second. And right now the time is 2:10 East Coast time. And you can see this is 2:10 and 41 seconds. And then if I open up the form, here you go. And if I zoom in, you can see it is today's date, April 7th, 2021 at 2:10 p.m. So again, no tricks up my sleeve. This is all live. This is showing that this person has a risk rating of cautionary and there are reasons behind it. Aside from that, it's also showing if they have E&O insurance or FB insurance or cyber insurance, and the date that expires, and on top of that, you have bank account information. So this form itself, we will save to the respective loan files e-folder. And on top of that, if I zoom into, we have a custom page for data. So now we're also pulling in information into Encompass fields. So here's today's date, and then here's all the information of Dom Kohanet with all the insurance and licensing information that you might need, as well as the bank account information. So you can, or we could help you, build business rules. So this way, if you did not have the settlement agent in file contacts, we could help you pull that information into file contacts and keep a nice, crisp system. And you could also build business rules where if this date is greater than, let's say, 30 days when you receive your clear to close, we could create a hard stop. So therefore, this report has to be pulled a second time. Or if the risk rating exceeds your threshold, then somebody else has to be used on this file in order for the milestone to be completed or for documents to be created. So that's Secure Insight, great company, great product. GinnyNet. Securitizing into GinnyNet is a relatively simple process. They're just looking for data points, but the problem is that it could be very intense in terms of data entry. So if somebody's typing out all the loans, it's very time consuming. And on top of that, the way GinnyNet works on the securitization side is that they have a portal called GinnyNet, and then your custodian is going to match the closing documents, the note, versus the data that's been put into GinnyNet. And if it's so much as one letter off, the entirety of the request to securitize is immediately canceled, and then you as a lender have to resubmit through GinnyNet. It's a very arduous process from that perspective, very time consuming. So we've created a GinnyNet extract. So you can see right here is commitment number, which Ellie Mae has a few different spots there. Commitment number, trade number, pool number, whatever you're using, we will configure our solution to meet within your existing workflow. So we're trying as hard and we can accommodate whatever you're looking for, so that our solutions, one, they're intuitive, and two, they work within your existing time frame and your workflow. Okay, so I can click View. Here's GinnyNet. This is a user interface that pops up, and then I will use Security 999 coupon. I'll say 4.5%. Settlement date, I'll say towards the end of this month. Issue type, we'll say multi-issuer. Issue date, I could say is Friday, and then the term is for 30. Okay, show loans. So this, you cannot change the loans details through this user interface, but at least it highlights some key features of the loans that are slated for this pool. So as you see on the rates, you can go down and then you find a 4%, which should not be in a 4.5% coupon. So what we really strive for is to help out not only on the happy path, but to help avoid issues and the not so happy path. So here, this is a little bit of a fail-safe of be careful. And then once you have the loans ready for the pool, then you click create, and then you could save the file to your desktop, which I have right here, save. Okay, and this is pretty much the output. And the top few lines are going to be about the pool data, and then after that, it's going to be about the mortgage borrowers. It has to be in a text format. It has to be coded and mapped out absolutely perfectly. This is something that we as an Ignite will help out with. And it is a major time saver for your capital markets if you're securitizing through Ginny Mae. And from that perspective, any statement of work that's signed, you're immediately assigned an Ignite project manager. We're here to help out, to scope, to make sure that our solution is configured right or possibly customized right for your environment. And then we'll help out with deployment. The greatest part about Encompass is that it's very customizable. The hardest part about Encompass is that it's very customizable, meaning that it's very challenging for a solution to be a one-size-fits-all. And we understand that, we respect that, and therefore we'll work with you in terms of the deployment to make sure that it really does work within your environment. Okay, so that's our GennyNet extract. Servicing and loan boarding. It's a very, very hot topic right now. So I'm going to show WMule. So we'll have a custom form that we help out with. So this custom form would be provided to you in line with the WMule integration. So WMule requires around 300 data points, but aside from that, you need to translate the data, meaning purchase equals the number 1. Single family detached is a 3 versus single family attached might be a 2. We'll identify the loans that need to be processed. We'll pull the 300 data points or the X amount of data points that are necessary. We'll work with those translations. We'll work with the equations. And then from there, once we have a complete, fully formatted data tape, then we'll transmit that to WMule. And when we do transmit the data tape, we'll create a write back of when the data was sent. And then at nighttime, we'll look for loans that have had the data sent, have not had the document sent. We'll go into the E folder, pull the 20, 25 respective documents, bundle them into a single PDF, transmit that over to the subservicer, and then put it right back there as well. Writebacks are incredibly helpful for a number of reasons. And then one in particular is that this way, Encompass, once again, acts as a system of record. So this way you can say with definitive proof that this is when the data and when the documents have been sent. At the same time, these are true applications. They're not simple plugins. So this way we'll have log files of every document that was sent, every successful loan that has been picked up and processed. So Ignite can host the solutions within our technical environment, or if you want us to deploy it into your technical environment, we could work either way. The way WMule works right now is that we have the 1-2 click would be the manual side. So 1 click would be applying the next subservicer loan number, okay, and that'll automatically push or persist right here. Notice that we try to use as many native fields as possible. We try our hardest not to use kind of like a one-size-fits-all custom form with all custom fields. That to us is not the right methodology. So instead, we try to use native fields. We'll work with you in terms of data mapping, and then the user could click here to identify the loan for boarding. If you want it to be fully automated, we could do that as well. What we're looking for, the funded milestone would be complete. Encompass will look at funded milestone as field 1993, 1997, 1999, or any other field that you want. And then once that field has been accomplished or fulfilled, then we'll automatically pick up that loan and send it for processing. So that's WMule. We could also work with the other subservicers, Semlar, LoanCare, TMS, ServiceMac, Fiserv, BSI. I'm sure I'm forgetting one or two. But in the end, vendor integrations is really one of our core competencies. So speaking of, so BluePay, we've been working with for about 3 years now. We have 2 different solutions for BluePay. On one hand, we can ask the borrower to pay for certain fees. Okay, so this is our quick page. So it's showing the borrower the respective emails, application date, that's important. So the send submit would be grayed out until you have intent to proceed, because technically you're not allowed to ask somebody to make a payment until they provide the intent to proceed. So there are some checks and balances for compliance. And then once intent to proceed has been accomplished, then you could quickly say that this person wants to pay for their appraisal. We could auto-populate from the 2015 itemization form. You could say that maybe the co-borrower is making the payment, their email address automatically pops in, and then from there you just click on send and submit. Versus, and on the fee side, we could do credit card, debit card, ACH, however you want to process it. In terms of making a mortgage payment, we have a program where it's only accepting debit cards and ACH, savings or checking, and it works very, very similarly, where you have the borrower's information right here. This is being grabbed from the interim servicing worksheet, okay, and it's really just being displayed. You can use the servicing portal for construction loans, for forward mortgages, for HELOCs, however you want. The whole benefit is to be in a very, very compliant way of asking a borrower for a payment. And then we have ways to remind them where you could have it for every 5 days, every 10 days, whatever time interval you want, to remind them through email that you have a payment due, please click here to make a payment. So in this circumstance, we have it, the drop down is configurable. You could say mortgage payment, you could say late fee, escrow payment, however you want. We can work with you in terms of setting it up. As of right now, we have this open-ended. So a borrower might say, just charge me $1,000 now and then charge me the balance later. For construction loans, pretty much every month, depending on the draw, depending on when the draw happened, you might have that as every month of collecting payments on a construction loan, that the payment could be different. But it operates the same way. Then you click send, submit. You could pick whichever invoice, or you could pick both, and then the borrower will receive an email, which I'll show you in just a moment. And then if you want, we have a notes section. So again, we really try to solve the total of the request. So you could say Mrs. will make payment at end of month. Okay, and then you could add that to the notes, and then there you are. So this could also act as kind of like your servicing notes, your servicing page. These are custom fields. So if you want, you could always pull them into a report. It could also help out with accounting on reconciliation. So now just pulling in, the borrower will receive an email, and this can be drafted with you, with your marketing team, with compliance of your loans being serviced, and then click on the link below. This is how much you owe. Click here for a secure payment. Okay, and then let's see. And then from there, the borrower has a way to say, I want to pay this. They could pay it, or they could decline it. If they decline it, it opens up a text box, and they could say, they could type in pretty much anything. It's just open-ended. And then when they type in whatever the comments are, it'll show up under authorization number. Otherwise, if they make the payment, which I could say pay now. So when they make the payment, then they're just going through and filling in the data points. When the payment has been processed, then we're going to show the authorization number right here. So which is excellent. Once again, you could pull a report, your accountant could pull a report and do a cross-reference of here's the authorization number, here's the loan number, here's a dollar amount, and just much easier in terms of, well, once again, trying to make sure that the checks and balances and that everybody's able to work together and encompass in a smooth, orderly fashion. So that's payment servicing. In terms of purchase advice automation, so we have, again, I'll send you our catalog of automation after this call, and we have so many different ways to just help automate repetitive functions. So when I first joined the mortgage industry, I was on the lock desk. And I had to type in, I mean, it was 20 years ago, but I feel like a lot of things haven't changed, where people are still typing in purchase advices. If you have a decent amount of volume, I mean, it's time consuming to just type data from a spreadsheet into Encompass, or data from a PDF into Encompass. Instead, we can fill in the entirety of the purchase advice form. So basically, the user will just save the purchase advice to a folder, and then Ignite solution picks it up. It could be a CSV file, it could be an XLS file, it could be a PDF. So we could read PDF, scrape the data, and then automatically push it into the purchase advice screen. And then on the bottom, they'll say confirmed by Ignite Integration Solutions. We want to put our stamp on it. So this way, if there is any type of troubleshooting that needs to happen, at least you know where to come by. We support all of our solutions, all of our deployments. So if there is an issue, by all means, come to me, go to our support at Ignite, and we'll address it quickly. Thankfully, that rarely happens, but at the same time, we do support and stand by our solutions. So for the purchase advice automation, this would complete that milestone and then go to completion. And then we also have other solutions for auto folder transfer and ways to automatically complete certain milestones when necessary. And then the last one on the list right now is MERS automation. So we can look for loans that once they met certain logic criteria, so such as like if the funded milestone is going to be as completed, then we'll automatically pick up roughly 100 data points. Once again, we'll translate them, we'll reformat them, transmit them over to MERS for registration. When MERS, it's an API, so we get a real-time response. And then we'll say, here's when the data was sent, here's when we got our response from MERS, and then here's what the response message is. So this is incredibly helpful because we could help build pipeline views. So this way, if a loan for whatever reason was rejected by MERS, not only do we have the response from MERS and the reason why, so this way there could be corrective action, but we could also build a pipeline view. So anything that was successful falls off. Anything that was either not processed for whatever reason, or it was failed, then at least it stays right there. So this way it could be addressed and fixed, and then it could just be resubmitted. And we could help out with MERS service transfer as well. And notice how everybody, all the actions are staying within Encompass. All the responses are staying within Encompass. So this way, once again, Encompass stays as your system of record. So those are the highlights. One last solution, just to kind of add to it, is our doc viewer. So getting into post-closing, post-closers, they're pretty much operating for the most part in the e-folder. So we have ways that by clicking on the drop-down arrow, you could see all the documents that are current version within the e-folder. If you want, you could click on the magnifying glass, and that will bring up the whole list. You could highlight just by clicking Control. So I could control and type in, have multiple documents open all at once. Okay, I could save them to my desktop and then upload them to the investor's website to clear conditions. So this is a great way also for underwriters. If you want to have 3 pay stubs and a W-2, it's a great way to have multiple documents open at once. If you want to search for something, just type in a couple of letters and then we'll say this is where it is. So we really try for as few clicks as possible to round out the workflow and make things as speedy as possible. So my goodness, that was almost 30 minutes. So I'm happy I accomplished all of it in time and open for any questions if they came in through the chat box.
I love it when you give us a presentation because I'm wrapped, focused, ready to go. So thank you very much, Brad. Appreciate it. You are certainly making life easier for everyone on the post-closing side of the business. But what does Ignite offer for the origination side of the business?
Right. So, the goal of today's call is really capital markets post-closing. So in terms of a question I receive a lot is how can we shave the time it takes to originate a loan? And I'll say that there are 2 main offerings that we have. One is automated conditions, and the other one would be auto roll assignment. Automated conditions, Ignite has a much different approach than Ellie Mae's and other people's approach towards conditioning. Condition sets, it's just a workflow and somebody still has to click apply and then possibly waive whatever they don't need. Ellie Mae's solution, the enhanced conditions, it's a step in the right direction. It's basically interrogating the loan, but my understanding is that the user still has to click on which conditions they want to apply and then click to apply. Ours is entirely different. One, there's a user interface right here where somebody could easily just say that I want to apply if somebody's self-employed, right? So I could say income self-employed, and then from there I could say this is an underwriting condition, it's preliminary, it's post-closing, so I could leave it at underwriting. I could want this to be manually driven for the underwriter. So right here is a drop-down menu, which I'll show you in a second, and so it's manually apply these conditions. Or it could be truly automated, where whenever the user clicks save, then our applications going through the loan, checking the field IDs, has a logic been met? If yes, then apply the conditions. So I'll go a step further, that if you are looking for income and let's see you need a profit and loss statement, see on the right side, now all of a sudden there are document placeholders saying that I need certain documents. So if you want to interrogate the loan in the beginning, the loan officers can know what documents they need to ask the borrower, or you could use a solution for very quick pre-approvals. My whole thing is that I was head of processing for a year, and I'll say underwriters will never take the processor's word for reviewing income or appraisals, which really comes down to that the processors are kind of looking at field IDs. Are they divorced? You need a divorce decree. Are they not a U.S. citizen? Then we need evidence of able to be in the U.S. There's so many different things where it's just looking at field IDs and saying need this, if it's a condo, if it's an investment property. So we have here, just to exit out of here, if I go into the E folder, and sorry to kind of like over talk about this one solution, but I'm just such a big fan, where the source will show you it's based on either Ignite for manual or automated, and then the other part is that if a loan starts as conventional and then you have to flip it to FHA, if Ignite was the origin of the condition and it's in the most juvenile status of added, we'll rip it out and then we'll reapply the conditions for FHA. So watch this right now. So here's automated conditions. I'll click a drop down and I'll say I want underwriting conditions I want the loan to be reevaluated with underwriting conditions. So here, condition manager will remove all conditions with select type as added. Do you want to move forward? This is a gauge of how many conditions are in underwriting right now. It shows 15. Watch it drop. So I'm going to click yes. See that? So it just dropped down to 3 because if the condition was any status greater than added, it's not going to be touched because we assume people have already done some work there. Or if it came from if it was manual, if it was condition set, if it was waived. And now it's right back up to 15, which is great. So you could actually have a loan go from loan officer straight to underwriting. This helps for fail-safe. If a loan's greater than 800,000, you need a second signature. And you can get granular with the rules. If the loan's in Texas and it's a cash out and the LTV is greater than 80 and the loan amount's greater than 250,000, then apply the condition. So, and this is something I'm more than happy to have like a sidebar if somebody wants to have a demo just for that solution. And then the other one, which the rules building engine looks similar. So for us, we have any role can be assigned to any loan at any time. Okay, so you can have it where if a processor works for a team of people, you could always assign the processor to that team. Or if for underwriting, you might have certain underwriters that only work for FHA, certain for construction, certain for self-employed, certain for VA loans. So we could build any rule because let's be honest, that 90 to 95% of loans are assigned to people in a very systematic, methodical way where we could just translate that into rules. But aside from processing and underwriting, Encompass does not natively allow branch managers to always be assigned to a loan file. We could assign branch managers to every single loan file, so this way your business intelligence reports are always accurate. We can assign compliance to loans that exceed a certain bandwidth. If your LTV is too high, your DTI is too high, it's a non-QM loan, it's a super jumbo loan, maybe the FICO is too low. You come up with the parameters, we could build it. But aside from that, we can truly maximize that. I had somebody yesterday that they want to make the HELOC program, instead of a 40-day origination cycle, they want to make it into 10. And I said, look, HELOCs have very less conditions. So use our condition manager, and within the minute of origination, you could condition the loan. And 2, use our auto roll assignment. So if you have day one certainty, a streamlined loan, property inspection waiver loan, that those loans go to the fast track channel. And those are 2 very big pickups in terms of time savers. So again, and the other part is people have asked for auto roll assignment. They said load balancing is always the issue. So we have a way where you could max out how many loans somebody gets. So here are 2 underwriters. I could say this is person's season. Great, I'm going to give them 5 loans a day. This person's not so seasoned. I'm going to give them 2 loans a day. So it's going to go 1 loan, 1 loan, 1 loan, 1 loan. And now underwriter 1 gets all the future loans for that day until they've reached their cap of 5, 6, 7, whatever their cap is. That's hugely important. So this way, now you don't have somebody waking up at 5:30 in the morning, gobbling up all the streamlines, and at the end of the month, patting themselves on the back and saying, look how many loans I closed. It also avoids the drama of people saying, why did they get that loan? I didn't get those type of loans. And then the other part, somebody's on vacation, great, they're disabled. You don't have to go through all the business rules. And then they come back from vacation, they come back from being sick, maternity leave, paternity leave, maybe their pipeline was overflowing. So then they're back, great, they're re-enabled. It's that simple. And the way it works is that we're looking at a daily cycle. So and on top of that, if they're it's a perfect round robin. So as we're getting into, he gets one, she gets one, and then once that cycle is finished and they're enabled in the middle, then they pick up exactly on the next cycle. So it's not like they have to wait a day, and it's perfectly built. And then the last thing I'll say is this column on the right, that we heard Encompass admins are just overwhelmed with a lot of work. So now you could target somebody for being a manager. So I could say underwriter 1 is the manager, great. So they have access to the screen. So they're not going to build the rules, but they can manage how many loans per day somebody receives, and if they're in or out of the selection pool by enable disable. So really, really helpful. It's those two solutions alone are going to give you significant pickup. So again, I think I just spent like a third of the demo on two tools that we're not supposed to be spoken about, but I apologize. But anyways, I'm raving fans of those two solutions.
You are equally assisting on both sides of the mortgage industry, so it's greatly appreciated. And we did have a question come in on the Q&A. Do you have any solutions for the UCD transfers?
For UCD? Yes. So we have a way to automate UCD. So we have it where the user would be in a pipeline view. You would have a pipeline view built, and then from there it's just pipeline. Here's UCD automation services. So this is a nice, easy user interface. I'll just raise it. So here's Fannie, Freddie, or both. And then when you're finished, you just click process. And then when you click process, then it's basically it's almost robotic process automation, where you're going to see the mouse just flying all over the screen, checking buttons, scraping data, publishing the data, and going back and forth. We have several environments that are using the solution. We have one incredibly large company that uses it, and it's just a time saver. So we have the way from the pipeline screen. So this way, if you have like a dormant workstation, like an Encompass, like a laptop on the side, literally you could fire it up in the morning or at night and just click run, and it just goes one to the next. If there are any issues, just jumping into the loan. So we have, here we go. So we're going to show what the results are, if it was a success or a failure. And once again, you can do Fannie, Freddie, or both, and then click process. It's important to bring in the information. So this way you could actually, one, you can timestamp it, so to speak. And then now your system, you could build pipeline views. So this way, anything that's been processed falls off. Anything that's not been processed stays on. So this way, it's an alert that it needs to happen. So short answer is yes. Long answer is love to talk to you about it after this call.
Long answer is also yes.
Yes.
Now, what are Ignite's 3 top sellers? 3 top products.
Okay. So I will say that there's in normal times, like a year ago, our top 3 solutions were Sandbox, where just it is what it is, right? So you're able to access the loan, and if the loan was locked, all the fields were locked down. So Sandbox allowed, kind of took the handcuffs off. So this way, a loan officer could go through a scenario with the borrower on the phone and say, you want to pay off this debt, you don't want to pay off that debt, this is how much estimated cash to the closing table you're going to have, rather than having to recreate a side spreadsheet, which, it's time consuming, and most people go through like a panic attack as they're trying to create a spreadsheet in a short amount of time. So Sandbox is definitely number 1. Our Audit Explorer would be number 2, which it's all fields that have been changed by the Encompass user are being tracked. They do not have to be in a reporting database. So our Audit Explorer would be number 2, and then Loan Information Panel, which you see right here. This is great. It has hyperlinks. It has data points that are specific. This whole thing is specific to the user's role. So capital markets sees what capital markets want to see. Processors see what they want to see. Loan officers see what they want to see. So those were the top 3, Sandbox, Audit Explorer, and Loan Information Panel. Now people are really looking more for automation. So without question, it's the condition manager, which I just showed you, the auto conditioning. Auto roll assignment is number 2. And then number 3, because so many more people are selling through the GSEs, that sub-servicing integrations. I would say that Devonmule is probably half the contracts that we sign. And then the other half, it's a blend of TMS. Loan Carrier used to be popular. It's not, like, I'm not hearing as much, but it's TMS, Cenlar, and ServiceMac is making a name for themselves. So those are the three today.
Excellent, thank you. I did have a question come in about running DU and LP simultaneously. Does Ignite have...
Yeah, that's so dual AOS. A little bit of a painful story. So about almost 2 years ago, we started creating the dual AOS, and we heard from the marketplace that that Freddie Mac was no longer going to accept a DU approval. Actually, I had multiple conversations with representatives from Freddie Mac of working collaboratively of trying to create a solution. So after, I'd say, 3 to 4 months of actually working on the solution and having something that was, my goodness, 2/3 to 3/4 of the way there, with ERLA coming about, then they changed from Fannie 3.2 to MISMO 3.4. They changed from a SOAP API to a RESTful API. Long story short is what we created had to be scrapped for the most part. So we stopped. That unfortunately that didn't move forward. But on the flip side, so now I'm hearing a lot of POS, like point of sale companies the rumor has it that a lot of them are trying to create it. So if that's the case, we don't want to jump into an arena that you just know other people are going to start working and solving for. We'd rather be more on the unique side, which gets into, here's one pain point that I hear a lot about, which I probably should have brought up during this call. We just created, it's a pipeline refresh. So one problem that I hear over and over is that if the lock is going to expire within 3 days, within 5 days, it's near impossible to notify the loan officer unless the loan is opened, so this way business rules can happen. And that's a major, major problem. So locks are expiring without people knowing. And of course, the fingers are pointing of why didn't capital markets tell me versus why didn't the loan officer know their pipeline. So we have a way that you could build rules. You could see how all of our solutions have user interfaces. So it's scalable. It works. We're selling the solution, and from there you can make it solve for one problem. You could solve it for 20 problems. So our pipeline refresh, it's basically create a rule. Is the loan in my pipeline? Is the loan locked? And if that's the case, then we will just automatically open the loan and then basically save the loan. So this way, now the last modified date is updated to today. And during that, you can allow business rules, alerts, that all that stuff can fire and happen. And at the same time, I've heard a lot of companies that are using kind of like a custom field, so a custom tally. So how many days has the processor had the loan? How many days has the underwriter had the loan? And it's a custom field that you need to open up the loan for that date to update. So if you're an environment that uses that type of methodology, again, our pipeline refresh can assist in terms of updating and updating those custom calculations and updating those alerts when they're necessary.
Excellent. Would the pipeline refresh work for TPO files so that we could notify them of potential unlock expirations?
Yes. So the TPO portals it's a little bit of a slippery slope. I feel like it's two different universes. You have like the retail side and you have TPO. I highly believe the answer is yes. I would just need to test it out. As of right now, it's been two different retail. Like this week, I was working on two different retail companies. I haven't personally tested on the TPO side. I feel like the answer should be yes, but I would just have to test it out first.
Okay. Well, that was Brandy that asked that question, so we will be sure and get that over to you.
Thank you.
Keep those questions coming in. We're almost out of time. Once again, thank you, Brad Ketcher with Ignite, for giving us so much information. I've got one more question, but if you guys have a question, please feel free to type it in the chat now. If any questions do come in after the fact, we'll get those over to Brad and he can answer them for us. Cool new tools. Got anything coming down the pipeline?
So cool new tools. So definitely the pipeline refresh. That to me, I'm really excited about. The other part is that we're working with two different vendors for OCR technology, and that's a very, very big topic. I mean, as brokers are going from, or TPO was, I'll say the wholesale side really was going from what, 5% the mortgage business to probably 25% is what I'm reading, all within 2-3 years. And the problem is that documents are coming in with just any type of naming convention, which is a challenge. And on top of that, you have what we call a stacked document or a blob, where you have one PDF with multiple documents associated to it. So there are 2 different vendors that we're working with, and they're able to identify the document, split out the documents, rename the documents. And I'm a big believer of you have to work in baby steps, right? So let's work on that and make sure that the document piece is solved first. They're also able to scrape data off the documents. And that's something that we've already created a proof of concept. It works. And we have a few engagements that are beta testers right now. So in terms of what's on the horizon, that to me that's going to be great. I know AIQ is out there and with Ellie Mae, and I saw a couple of demos during the Ellie Mae experience. It looks like a fantastic product, but I'll say that competition is a good thing and different price points. So that's something that we're actively engaged with.
Sounds exciting. Always right there on the cutting edge. So thank you again, Brad. I don't see any more questions, but once again, if you do have questions, please feel free to send those to your member engagement connections, or send them over to Tom or I, and we can get them over to Brad, or you can send them to Brad directly. I know that you'll be following up with your what you call it, your catalog. So that everyone knows what you have to offer. And this is TMC Connect, so do appreciate your time. We've got lots of stuff coming up in April, so please come back to the calendar and check and register, because we want to see you again.
Tony, do you have a conference? Do you have a conference coming up? Did I hear about that?
Yes. And we have a live conference, thank you very much. September the 18th through the 21st in Terranea Resort in Palos Verde, California, just out of Los Angeles. So we would love to see you all there. I don't know if you follow Rich or Tom. We were all kind of cussing the ground they walked on last week, because they were at the property checking it out, sending amazing pictures, and we are just very, very excited to see everyone in person, and to get back to collaborating face to face. So thank you very much for reminding me of that, Brad, and thank you for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, TMC, and thank you everybody for attending. Have a good day.
Bye.